ready to do a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Hello and welcome to Learning the Law, a podcast about all things legal with the focus on current events, where we try to teach you things in 1 hour. My name is Ashley, aka Phoenix Nymphy, and my co-host is the man of the hour, my husband.
Hi,
So
everyone.
pretty. This podcast is purely educational and should not be taken as legal advice. This podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. This podcast is based on his interpretation and my interpretation of relevant law. Any opinions expressed are the opinions of the individual making them and do not reflect the opinions of any firm, any company, or other individuals. Ron is a licensed practicing attorney in the state of California.
Since 1999, since I always say that.
I was waiting for you to say that. Okay.
I didn't want to disappoint you, honey.
There's a lot to talk about today.
Quite a bit. Yep.
Today is day 2 of the impeachment trial. We're going to talk about yesterday and today. Real quick, one of the things that Ron wanted to actually explain how you remove a representative from office because we were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I had some comments directed at me that they couldn't do it. You can't do that. You can't override the will of the people.
Where? On Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't look at your Twitter, so I don't know.
So, Article 1, Section 5 of the U.S. Constitution provides Congress gets to set up the rules for each particular session, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have disruptive behavior or you violate those rules, that same section of the Constitution says you can punish members for their conduct, including expelling a member right out of the House with a 2/3 vote.
And that means House of Representatives or Senate.
Correct.
Okay.
No, it's
sorry, go ahead.
been very rarely used. But there is going to be a motion brought in the House to get rid of Representative Greene from Georgia. Doubtful they'll get the 2/3 vote.
She did start as soon as she was removed from her committee things. She started spouting her stuff again.
Right, and that's why she wasn't sincere in her apology.
Right, exactly. So I also want to state, I want to address this. There have been a couple of people on TikTok who
Just shout it out.
y'all just don't understand how the law works at all. And you threaten. And what baffles me is we're here to educate you, but you're threatening us with legal action that you can't take.
Are you talking about the bar complaint?
I'm talking about the dude who wanted to file a bar complaint on you because of the fact that you stated, I don't even remember what the hell it was you said, but I'm like, okay, first of all, this is his interpretation of the law, okay? Second of all, that's literally what lawyers do is they interpret the law. Third, this is not in a legal setting, so there's no complaints that you can make. So,
Right, doing a podcast is an ethics violation, so I don't know where he was coming from, but
the only way you can disbar an attorney is if there's an ethical violation
or a moral turpitude.
So we're here to educate you, and I'm just going to be honest. I don't have a problem telling you that you're dumb. And don't come
I'm not going to tell you that you're dumb.
I can, though, because I don't have a job like he does.
If you want to get into a good conversation about what I say, and you can bring an argument against me, I'm fully prepared to have that discussion with you. But we got to have a discussion.
Right. Don't like trying to threaten to disbar someone and asking us to show you the bar card. He asked to show, first off, he asked me to show my bar card. I've never claimed to be an attorney. So obviously this person has no idea what's going on. But even so, I don't have to prove myself to you. He doesn't have to prove himself to you. So nice try, people, but you're not winning that argument because literally nothing to disbar him for, and you can't do it to me because I'm not an attorney. So anyway, I just wanted to make that known. Like that's how legal things work. We want to educate you, and if you really want to disbar someone, those are things that you need to.
And here's some free advice. If you do some kind of complaint or file some kind of motion, remember you need to bring some evidence.
Yes.
Don't be like a Trump attorney and not attach any evidence to these 60 motions that you brought. Just attach something.
Really?
Yeah.
They brought 60 motions and they attached no evidence?
All across the nation. And yeah, that's why all those motions failed. All they did was allegations. They didn't attach any credible
wonder
evidence,
the judges threw them out.
including Trump-appointed judges.
Wow. On that note, the impeachment trial.
Yeah.
It was voted as constitutional, even though you have some GOP members still claiming it's unconstitutional. It was voted yesterday that it was.
Yes. And they had to go through that debate first before the trial could actually take place. And 6 Republicans joined the Democrats in determining that it was constitutional, even though that's usually a court's job to do. Now,
it's a court's job to
determine constitutionality of things.
Oh, okay.
But since the opposition to the impeachment brought it up, they had to address it themselves. Now,
baby?
Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
I thought I was.
You were not.
Okay. Did you not hear me?
They would just ask if you could bring the mic a little closer.
Okay, how's that?
We have to figure out the best way to set this up because, like, either you hear what he says and don't hear what I say, or you hear what I say and don't hear what he says. This is not the best setup for doing this. What we need is more like a radio setup, but we don't have that ability.
Anyhow, where the confusion lies in for most people is the trial is not the impeachment. The impeachment already happened while Donald Trump was actually the sitting president.
Yes.
All the impeachment is the House of Representatives voting and approving the articles of impeachment. Once that happens, they are delivered to the Senate, and it's up to the Senate then to do all the trial and procedure.
Bringing the allegations forward and doing basically the arraignment. If you were to compare, okay, so obviously because it is the president, it's an impeachment trial. It doesn't work like a regular trial, but so that the people so that people can kind of get an idea, comparatively speaking, what would it be equivalent to?
I will make an analogy.
There you go.
The grand jury brings an indictment against a person for murder.
Mm-hmm.
It is then up to the courts to try that person for murder. Just because a judge retires in between time does not mean you're not going to bring any charges for murder for that guy.
Okay.
Which is essentially what the Senate and the opposition was asking.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
There's a people also don't know. There's also a historical precedent for impeaching somebody who's no longer in office.
Yes. No, I saw a lot of people. The audio is doing some really funky things. I may have to listen to it.
Back in 1876, they were going to impeach the Secretary of War, which is now called the Secretary of Defense. So the guy runs and submits his resignation to President Grant. I believe it was Grant at the time, before they could do it. Well, they went and they impeached him anyway. And the Senate had the trial. And your president is right there that you can have a trial of a non-sitting official.
So now, a lot of the arguments is that when Nixon resigned, they didn't do the trial, but they never impeached him, did they?
They were drawing up the articles.
Okay, so he resigned before they even got a chance to impeach him. Well, there you go. So that argument is invalid then. They can't even use that argument.
But it is true. You cannot impeach someone who's no longer in office.
But the question was, is the trial constitutional? Not is the impeachment constitutional?
The trial is constitutional because the Constitution says that the Senate shall try all impeachments.
And the impeachment happened while he was a sitting president.
Correct.
Twice.
Well, yeah, we're just talking about this.
Oh, I know. I just want to still dig that in. He's been impeached twice. So,
well, if you're going to do something, go big.
Huge. Anyway, so Cruz, who keeps saying that it's unconstitutional, is actually just bald-faced lying.
I will not call any viewer or listener to the podcast an idiot, but I will call Ted Cruz an idiot. For someone who went to Harvard Law, his ignorance astounds me.
I don't think it's a matter of ignorance. I think it's a matter of, you tell a lie so much you start to believe it. I think it's a matter of he just doesn't want to lose, and he's gotten so far into it that he doesn't want to back down because of his pride.
Well, he is one of the people that was trying to fundraise during the riot.
Yeah, that's disgusting. So it was deemed constitutional based off of 1800s precedent.
Well, that was part of it, but mainly that he was a sitting president and they impeached him while he was sitting.
Gotcha. So they have to. So it was a matter of whether or not we like it, we have to do this trial.
Right.
Okay. So now that was essentially everything that happened yesterday. Was they were just trying to.
And they made some opening arguments,
which I want to address a little bit, because Trump's lawyers, what I heard, I didn't watch all of yesterday's, because when I tuned in yesterday, it just made me angry because the arguments were just so out there from the Republicans. I don't even know what I want to say right now. Do they know how to lawyer? Like, do they know how to do their job?
What you saw yesterday was from the Democrats and the prosecution of this impeachment. You saw a very orderly, well thought out, well planned out strategy of why he's guilty. Mm-hmm. What you saw from the defense side was the meandering and the I will say, argument of somebody that already knows he doesn't need to put up an argument.
So, because they are so confident that they're going to be acquitted because of the GOP, they're just not even trying?
Yes.
Do you think that might fail?
No. I think you may get as many as 10 Republicans voting to impeach. But the other 40 have just drunk the Kool-Aid.
So I watched the trial today, and it's all I did today. Well, right. I mean, I also uploaded videos and did other stuff, but I've had it on all day long, and I missed like the very beginning of it. But what the House managers brought to the table today was evidence, and I mean audio and video evidence. And they did it in 3 parts. So basically, what he did to incite the riots was the beginning, and then the middle part was what he was doing during the riots, what happened during the riots, including showing the graphic death of Ashley Babbitt, which was that will always sit with me. That video will always sit with me. The fact that I know, because it's a trial, they have to show it. I could not be an attorney. There's no way I could be an attorney. I could not be able to sit and watch. Oh God, I hope I never have to do a murder trial as a juror.
Over and over and over again sometimes.
I don't. Oh God. And then the final part was they were wrapping it up, showing what he did afterwards and his inaction. And they went minute by minute, hour by hour, showing how, I mean, like, I made so many notes. I'm just going to go down my list on my notes, and I will definitely, and obviously our show notes are up on the website, twolazydogs.site, so you can get access to these, because I'm not going to showcase the footage of the shooting of her getting killed. That's not something I will ever link back to, just because, but there's trigger warnings. If you go look at any of this footage, I'm just going to put this out there right now. Do not watch it if you don't think you can cope with it, because there were moments where I was tearing up, because, like, I don't agree with obviously I don't agree with all of our representatives. That's never going to happen. You're kidding yourself if you think you're going to agree with all of your representatives. However, no one should ever have to go through something like that. Ever. And so they, a lawyer from Georgia, last name McCall, talked about it on Facebook and called Nancy Pelosi Crazy Nancy, which is his name for Nancy Pelosi. And he kept over and over and over again calling her Crazy Nancy. And there was a Facebook post about it, bragging about it. And they showed that stuff. There was, they showcased the footage of the rioters screaming and yelling, looking for Nancy Pelosi, to the point that Pelosi was completely removed from the premises for fear of her life. And they showed footage from the insurrectionists that were recording. They showed footage from, the security cameras, and they showed that all of her people went into a chamber, locked the chamber up, and went into another chamber, like, because there's like chambers
like a panic room.
Yes. And they got through the first door, and they couldn't get through the second door, so they gave up. But it was within 7 minutes of the entire hallway going into the room. 7 minutes. That's how close they were.
And let's not forget that one of these new GOP representatives was tweeting out where Pelosi was.
Yeah. Which wasn't it Green?
No, it wasn't Green.
Oh, it was a different one? Okay.
I think it was the one from Colorado.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Finally to the point where she tweeted out that she had been removed from the premises. There's no reason for someone to do that other than to inform people to search elsewhere.
So, the security, what is this next security? These are just, all of this is, yeah, I just have a bunch of like, just tweets and stuff like that from the security footage. But Representative Swalwell was showing how close the mob actually got to the members.
He's one of the House managers.
Yes. So he went back and actually calculated the steps. And like the footage that they show, you have senators and representatives running through the hallways, like in the center of the screen. And then at the top of the screen, you have, in the center, you also have officers coming in and heading north in the screen, heading to the top of the screen, because that's where the mob is coming in at. And he went back and he counted how many of his own steps. Okay. 58 steps. 58 steps. That's how close they were.
It's about 100 feet.
That's how close they were to these people. There's footage of Eugene Goodman saving Mitt Romney, literally saving Mitt Romney's life, because Mitt Romney was walking towards the mob, didn't realize he was walking towards the mob. Goodman ran at him and said, "You need," and directed him to safety. There's audio footage of what the PD was going through. There's evidence of how close they were from Pence.
Oh, they were looking for Pence too.
And here's the catcher about Pence. One of the bits of evidence they showed was, so one of the arguments that they've had is that they're not watching Twitter. It doesn't matter what he says because they're not even looking at it. There is evidence. They put a side-by-side of the timing in which Trump tweeted his Mike Pence comment about how Mike Pence is a traitor and won't like stop the counting or whatever. He's doing his job as vice president. I don't like Mike Pence. I think he's a horrible human being, but the bar has been set so low with Trump that they were applauding Mike Pence doing his basic job and not being involved in the insurrection. They literally repeated on a megaphone what Trump's tweet was about Mike Pence. And that's when they started going after Mike Pence.
Well, yeah.
There is they had side-by-side evidence that they were paying attention to his words and what he was saying.
Yeah, there's also evidence that some Trump aides were monitoring all the social media.
Yeah.
What people have to remember is inciting a riot does not have to be direct words saying, let's have a riot like your Ozzy Osbourne at Ozfest.
Right.
If you're manipulating a crowd to do violence, and there is a lot of evidence still coming showing that speech that he made before he went and ran to the White House, where he said,
we're going to walk down.
We're going to walk down. I'll be with you. Don't let your country, don't lose your country because you don't have the strength of will to fight. You know, that whole thing. Before that speech, the term Civil War was trending on Parler, but it wasn't the top trend. After that speech, Civil War was the number one trending phrase on Parler.
I have no idea what else they're going to bring tomorrow. I am curious what the defense is going to be. But from what I saw today, I think they made a clear connection between Trump not only inciting the riot, but egging it on, and then showed that they did nothing later. Like, they were able to show, they proved there's audio recording of Rudolph Giuliani calling a senator while they are in the middle of the riots and while they are in the middle of hunkering down and trying to find safety, calling a senator and asking a senator to hold off the counting of the votes. There's audio of that while they were in the middle of the riots.
Now, there are cameras all over Capitol Hill, all over the Capitol building. I would not be surprised that tomorrow you see some undisclosed footage of the officer getting his head bashed in.
Oh, God.
They are going to force the GOP that will not vote to convict to show that they really do not care about the officers that were trying to protect them.
Now, I am definitely a person who thinks that our police force, the police system, that whole system is rooted in racism. It's rooted in systemic racism. Now, that doesn't mean there's not good officers. There are good officers. And I applaud the officers who do their job and do their job well. But we should also hold the officers accountable who don't do their job well and who, you know, continue to perpetuate the systemic problems. Just like we need to hold Trump accountable, and every single person that applauded the riots, every single person that was involved, Ted Cruz, they need to be held accountable.
There's some evidence that certain officers let people into certain sections of the building. They should be held accountable.
If there are officers who did that, yes, absolutely.
Reconnaissance.
No, I will. I'm going to actually give you. I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that situation. You are an officer. You are completely unarmed. You are outmanned, and you have a mob of people with Trump flags, with flags that could be used as weapons, regardless of whether or not they're Trump flags. They have these poles with flags on them that could be used as weapons. A bunch of others have weapons and guns and shit like that. I would let them in too, because I would not want to get hurt. I would just do my, like, I can't say I would let them in, but I can't say that I wouldn't just let them overtake me, if that makes sense. Like,
no, it makes total sense.
That's a lot to be coming at a few people. And if you look at the footage, the one thing that was really, really crucial and really, really evident is they were so unmanned. Like they did not have enough coverage for the size of that mob.
I agree with that. However, and I hate to say it, because I would never be a police officer.
No.
I wouldn't either. They took an oath. Protect and serve. Now, there are various ways to do that. But if you, even though you're going to be overwhelmed, if you let the people in, you need to undergo some kind of discipline.
No, I personally would not let them in just, come on in. No, it wouldn't be a matter of that. It would be a matter of they're coming through the door. I'm not going to try to hold the door anymore because they're going to destroy me and kill me.
Now, if this was a mob shouting out Al Akbar, would you have the same feeling?
If they are coming through a door and they're about to swarm me, yes.
Okay.
For me, it's a matter of preservation, personally. Like, I don't care who you are. If you are a mob of people coming at me and I am alone and there is a door in between you and me and you are coming through that door, you betcha bottom dollar I'm getting out of there because I ain't going to be able to do anything.
You know, that's why that officer shot.
Yes, that is why that officer shot. And I stand by my opinion. That girl deserved to die. I don't say that a lot. She deserved what she got. And the thing is, in watching that footage, it's not like the officer didn't pull it out and shoot immediately. The officer pulled out the gun, yelled to stop.
Other people yelled that there was a gun.
Other people yelled that there was a gun. There was a solid, I want to say, maybe not a full 60 minutes, but there was time.
60 minutes is an hour.
60 seconds, I mean. There was time. He waited until the last minute. And when she was shot, they stopped trying to get through. So it did its job.
Yeah, no one else wants to get shot.
And right. Which is, and it's unfortunate that that's how that had to happen. But it didn't have to happen in the first place.
And I hate to say it, but a smart person doesn't rush somebody with a gun unless you have your own gun and some body armor.
And the thing is, she was already... the way they make it seem is she was trying to get into the building. No, she was actually already in the building.
Right.
They showed footage of a dude literally punching the glass and broke the glass. The dude punched the glass and broke it, and that's how she was going through. They were punching the glass so hard with their bare hands. These people were angry. You don't just punch glass because you want to punch glass. They had a purpose, and their purpose was to harm.
And I refer to the felony murder rule. All those people at
in that moment,
barricade, every single one of them, except, the officer, should be charged with the felony murder.
Of her death?
Yeah.
I'm not an attorney, so I obviously don't, I think they made a clear connection in how Trump incited the insurrection and was the cause of the insurrection. From your professional opinion, what is your professional opinion?
My professional opinion is Trump's tweets and speech were the proximate and actual cause of the riot.
Now, when they were trying to get the National Guard and his inaction.
To me, that should have been the second article of impeachment. He's commander in chief. The Capitol building is being overrun. You're being asked to provide support and help. That is your duty. That is your oath that you took to defend the Constitution and the people.
Now, several of them actually kept saying dereliction of duty.
Yeah,
today.
But they should have brought it. Because there is no defense to that.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no defense to that. If that happened, say you were in Afghanistan and a forward base was being overrun, and the commander of that forward base radioed for some support, and it turns out that the colonel or the general that was being asked for support was just watching TV and ignored everything, he'd be court-martialed in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I'm going to have to bleep that out.
Sorry. He'd be effing court-martialed in a heartbeat.
So where do we go from here?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to have one more day of testimony, and then you're going to have the GOP's 2 days of defense.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what the GOP defense is. They're going to vote to not convict. So it really doesn't matter. They're going to bring up, watch them bring up that it's unconstitutional still. Watch them bring up that he didn't incite a riot because he didn't say, let's have a riot. The lead defense attorney, I'm sure, will bring up the Chewbacca defense.
What?
Well, if you ever watch South Park, look up the Chewbacca defense.
Okay.
That was kind of a joke. They have no defense, but it's not going to matter because 40 plus GOP senators will place party above country.
Now, one thing that happened while I was watching, can you explain how impeachment trials are different from regular trials? Because there was some confusion at the end. One of the senators, believe it was Leahy, spoke and asked to have something stricken because he said that never happened. Some of the evidence that they brought forward, it was based off of a CNN article or something. And he's like, I never said that. That never happened. That's not how that happened. So I want it removed. That's not... You're not supposed to be able to speak like that, are you? I didn't think, from what I understand, senators are not allowed to, you cannot speak during impeachment trials.
Right. It'd be like one of the jurors.
Yeah.
Asking questions in the middle of a regular trial. Some courts allow that.
So, like, okay.
But it's up to the person running the trial, which should have been Chief Justice Roberts. But he declined because he doesn't want to be involved in this.
Okay.
I believe it's Patrick Leahy who was.
Yes. He was so confused. And I'm just like, this is why, okay, he is the oldest Democratic senator. And
he's a former senator.
I'm sorry, former senator. He's so, like, he was so confused on what was going on. And, like, I realize this because the guy spoke out of turn and he's like, what does the guy want? It was a matter of that. But even so, This is why we cannot have old people. This is why we don't need old people involved in this.
Well,
we need people who are not going to fall asleep at the bench.
You need people running a trial who know how to run a trial.
Yeah.
Why they picked him, I don't know. They should have got someone with a little judicial experience that would have told Senator Lee to sit down and shut up.
Well, so what ended up happening was the House managed, the leaders running the trial just said, okay, it's fine. It's because it was confusing everybody. They're like, we can have it removed. It's fine. It's whatever. You know, it's not crucial. That evidence is not crucial to what we have. And the guy's like, but it's, and I heard him in the background going, but it's not your reputation. It's not your blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they removed it from you. Why are you complaining? They removed it. They struck it from the thing. Right. They literally told you that they're striking it from you. Why are you crying? Why are you crying?
In a regular trial, the defense attorney would bring a motion to strike the testimony, and the judge would rule on it.
Right, but you can't. So how would you, in that particular case, if you do have a situation like that? Because honestly, I want to know what happened then. If it didn't happen the way...
In the impeachment trial, the defense should, if they want it stricken, the defense attorneys should bring it up and say, we want this stricken.
So he should have waited then until it was their turn to do their defense.
Correct.
Oh, so this...
Because there isn't a way to do that if the defense attorney, as incompetent as those defense attorneys are, they could have brought that motion right then.
So it was not necessary for him to even speak up.
No, I'm sure he was frustrated with the incompetence of the defense attorneys. Because if he truly didn't say that and it truly did not happen, one, it should be stricken.
Yeah, absolutely.
And two, it shows how well prepared the defense attorneys are to bring a case. They should have known that Lee did not say that if he did not say that.
So the Democratic House managers, I forget who it was that got up. My only issue is they don't put the names at the bottom. So you have to automatically know who it is up there.
Oh, yeah.
And please, I don't know everybody. So please, come on, give me names. It's not going to be, anyway. So he just said, it's fine. We will remove it tonight and remove it from evidence, which to me felt like, okay, that's fine. It's no big deal. They respected his request, but he still was upset because it wasn't me.
Yeah, well,
that just sounds like a child right there. They're doing what you asked for. Shut up.
Because some people can't shut up.
So we did get one question on TikTok, and this is one that I understand their frustration, but okay. So the question is, there are a lot of people who will become traumatized. Absolutely. With Cruz and Holly and the way they're acting is no big deal. How can they get away with this?
I'm going to take that as, how can they get away with how they're acting?
Yeah.
Because
that's how I'm taking it.
They can get away with it because no one in the party will call them out for it. It's up to the Senate minority leader now, Mitch McConnell, to call out this behavior and to discipline them for it. And he simply will not.
Now, I do have a question on that. Could someone bring a civil lawsuit against them?
Generally, you cannot bring a civil lawsuit against a member of the House or the Senate for what they do as a senator or as a congressman.
Even if they're lying.
Even if they're lying.
Even if they are perpetuating. See, that's messed up to me. Because you are perpetuating these lies, these blatant lies. You're perpetuating, I think I tweeted at Senator Cruz today and was like, because he was saying it was unconstitutional. And I'm like, you don't. So here's my argument on the whole thing. If we do not convict him, that means that he can run again and motivate and manipulate his base to do this again, if not worse, which means their lives are in danger. And I don't understand why the GOP can't understand that. Your life, like, it will literally save their lives to convict him.
Because they believe that if they join him, they'll have more power. It's all about power. Now, you know, the Dominion...
Can't have power when you're dead.
The Dominion... Well, you need some sycophants, even if you are Trump, to do what you want.
Saying.
Dominion brought, this huge $2.3 billion lawsuit against Fox News and Rudy
the pillow
Giuliani
guy and
you note that they did not bring it against any sitting member of the House or the Senate for that reason.
Because they can't.
Even though they spouted the same crap.
Wow. That's interesting. And that might be a new subject for next week. I want to know more about why that is. That's messed up, yo. So man. Well, we are at an hour, so we need to wrap this up.
I will also deal with periodically the emoluments. I'm saying that wrong.
What?
Portion of the Constitution.
What? Emoluments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you can't profit off of your position.
Oh, you mean how Trump and his family did?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what happened.
And how the Supreme Court allowed him to do it.
Oh, we're going to address that next week?
Yeah.
Oh, juicy. I like it.
To the point where that should, it doesn't matter that it's in the Constitution.
Wait, it's in the Constitution and yet... Wow, we're getting into the subject and we need to wrap this up. So thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, please give us your questions. We've actually had a request to do like a roundtable discussion where we respond, where you bring questions to us live and we respond. If you are interested in that, let us know. We're thinking of possibly doing it once a month because we do have to do research when it comes to these subjects that we do because we want to bring you the best information, the right information, and we don't want to be guessing because these are serious things. Yes, our opinions do pop in, but legally speaking, I do think today I was a little opinionated and kind of strayed a little bit, but we want to, teach y'all to the best of our ability and have the best information we can. So we're thinking of doing a wrap-up session at the end of each month where we go over all the things that we've talked about in the podcast and y'all bring questions to us. So if you are interested in that, let us know.
Also, if there is a particular area of the law that you would like to hear us discuss.
Yes.
Bankruptcy, taxes, any, family law, let us know.
Yes. We're talking about politics and current events because there's a lot happening right now. And a lot of people don't realize, like, I had a conversation with my father and he was trying to spout stupid stuff. And I had to educate him because we literally had a podcast on the crap that he was trying to talk to me about. And I was like, no, Dad, that's actually not how that works. This is how the law works. So you want to have those discussions with people, but you want to be educated. We're here for you. We are here to help you out. I'm learning a lot, so I appreciate these conversations.
I'm having a good time.
So Thank you so much for listening to Learning the Law. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share in all your favorite places. You can find it hosted on Twitch live at twitch.tv/PhoenixNymphy. Use the hashtag Learning the Law on TikTok and other social media platforms. To follow us, you can find Ron on Twitter at NecroKijo and me on most social media platforms at Phoenix Nymphy. If you have any questions, please tweet, comment, or email us at twolazydogsmedia@gmail.com. This has been a Two Lazy Dogs production.
Bye.